All right, so I have two partners in crime, Dr. Sylvia Carlisle, who is the namesake to some extent from which this scholarship was given, from physician Dr. David Rogers, who gave, unfortunately, his life to medicine. And part of his foundation was to make sure that his, basically the foundation and the endowment and the money that he received would go to a worthy cause. He chose us this year, or the foundation did, to the tune of several $100,000. And we really appreciate it. And we have spent almost all of it on you guys. So I'm very proud to say that. Okay, Chanel, you ready?
Yep.
All righty. So it is now 5:03 p.m. and I'm going to get started. I am Dr. Tanya Hines. I am the person that you guys have been sending your emails, your applications to. Some of those quick quips, the little yes, received, thank you, got it, that's me. There's a real person on the end of all of that. And there's another person, Dr. Sylvia Carlisle, who is also somewhere in the mix here. And you want to admit her, we'll admit her. And so Sylvia, Dr. Carlisle will be speaking as well. I'm going to quickly introduce myself because I want all this time to be for you guys to ask questions. Number one, I am the assistant clinical professor for obstetrics and gynecology at the new Kaiser Permanente Bernard J. Tyson School of Medicine. I am an admissions officer. I was an admissions officer for both UCLA as well as at UCI College of Medicine, which is where I graduated from for the School of Medicine. I went to UCLA undergrad. I am an obstetrician gynecologist, and I have been practicing for 20 years this year. I'm also the treasurer for the Association of Black Women Physicians, where I received a scholarship a long time ago as a new medical student. And I hope and wish that several of you on this call today will one day get that scholarship, which is at least $5,000 to $6,000 in your pocket every single year for the next 4 years when you're in medical school. It is an amazing gift that you don't have to give none of that money to the school. So that is really an amazing thing. Next, I also, what else I want to do? Number one, the biggest question people keep asking, so I'm going to answer it right now. Do you have to take the MCAT this year? Yes. Unequivocally, yes. Yes, I know that it's difficulty to get a spot, or that, the last MCAT is, I think, September the 10th. I have to look it up, but it's in September. I know. And if you're not prepared, or you feel like, darn it, I didn't know, then let me know. Okay, so that we can make an arrangement. Do you have to apply to medical school this year? No. Now, initially, we thought that that would be the thing, but we realized that applications for the AMCAS came out on May 27th. Now, your application is technically kind of late if you haven't gotten it in, probably about November-ish. So I said, if you scored high, and that's the 80th percentile, which gives you at least a 510, 512 and above, because it's quartiles, that would put you at the 80th plus percentile with the GPAs. Remember, I know all of your transcripts. There is nobody on this call that could not get into medical school right now without a decent MCAT. That's coming from an admissions officer, not a Black admissions officer, an admissions officer. But you must do well. There are also people on this call that do not need the MCAT. They are that good. You guys have put the time in, you are amazing. But if you don't take the MCAT, despite your 4.0 or 3.9, you will have a limitation on the number of schools that you can apply to, because the 150 plus med schools out there still require the MCAT. So if you think you want to apply to the top 50, you will need the MCAT. If you're so good that you feel like you're just going to apply to the top 10, and you got a GPA that's that strong, and I'm talking the science GPA is 3.5 and above, with an 80 plus, probably 85th percentile, you probably need 515, then you're right. You probably don't need that damn MCAT. You probably be okay. But I need you guys to know that. Okay, so do you have to take the MCAT? I mean, yes. Do you have to apply to medical school? No. But if you do apply to med school and you do well on the MCAT, yes, it is looking a gift horse in the mouth. Yes, we will pay your $172 AMCAS fee plus $42 per school, up to 40 schools to apply to, if you score in the 80th percentile. Wish somebody had given that to me. Yes. Yes. Now, not all of y'all gonna score that high, but if you do, we will find the money to make sure that all of you do. We're expecting, we said at least 20% of you guys will do. Honestly, only 20% of the students who apply to med school in the nation score in the 80th plus percentile with a GPA that high. So I'm expecting that we're gonna give y'all a leg up. And let's see what you can do with all that information. That's it for me right now. I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Sylvia Carlisle, who's going to introduce herself, talk to you about what this scholarship is about, what we expect from you guys. And then she'll introduce Chanel Jenkins, who is amazing. She's our administrative assistant. She will also be a touch point for you. And then please ask as many questions as you like. Use the chat. Chanel will be able to go through the chat and help us with that. We're also recording it. So for those who couldn't make it, it will also be available for you to go back and to hear if you have questions. Last thing, any correspondence should go to abwp sister2sister@gmail.com. That's exactly where you send your applications. Don't mail me nothing. Please don't call me unless it's an absolute emergency. I promise you I will get back to you as quickly as I can. Make sense? And yes, you can use my phone number if you need to. I'm telling you, I'm not saying you can't call me. Just saying you need to call me, let me know. Dr. Carlisle, you're up.
Hi, so I'm Sylvia Gates Carlisle, and I'm an internist, a geriatrician. I have been on admissions committees for my alma mater, Brown University. And I'm going to tell you about David Rogers. For those folks who are questioning whether they should apply this year, Black lives have rarely mattered in the universe. And there has not been a significant push to get Black students into medical school for 30 years. So between Black Lives Matter and racism being a public health crisis, this year we believe has the potential to be transformative. You know, Americans have kind of short attention spans, so they may be looking for different kinds of applications and applicants next year. But we believe this year is probably a very good year to be a Black applicant, a competitive Black applicant to medical school. And our goal is to push you across the finish line. You are all here because you're competent and qualified applicants. We think you all have a reasonable chance to get in. And we think that by pushing your MCAT score, we're going to push you over the line. You're not the hobbling and the unable to get there. You're very close. And so we hope that with pushing your scores and then post-program mentoring between ABWP and Chi Delta Mu, which is a physician fraternity, to be able to help with, interview prep and personal statements and that other stuff. But at the end of the day, the numbers matter. Absolutely. And so our goal is to get you over the line on the numbers. We think you're in the ballpark. And we're going to try to give you those resources. Since we received a grant from the David Rogers Foundation, David Rogers was my friend. I will tell you about Dave Rogers. Dave Rogers was a geneticist and a pediatrician. He and I were Stanford pre-meds together. He was a human bio major who subsequently went to Harvard Medical School. And while we were both Black pre-meds, we had an annual welcome the new medical students dinner at our advisor's house. And so at that particular dinner, he introduced me to my husband, who's also obviously a physician. And then they the
president of Charles Drew University.
Yes, my husband's president of Charles Drew University of Medicine and Science. You can consider applying there. And so, yes, we were very close friends. When we returned to Los Angeles, David and my husband, David, played tennis a lot at our apartment complex because they were both residents at Harvard. And when he was a chief resident, when he was driving north on the Harbor Freeway to take his dad out for a birthday dinner, a wheel flew off a car and he had a catastrophic accident and became a quadriplegic. And despite being a quad, he finished his genetics fellowship on time. He was an active genetics researcher, working and also an advocate for the disabled until he died at 59 a couple of years ago. And so part of his legacy is that despite facing very personally difficult circumstances, he lived his life with grace. He was actively contributing to other people. And although he's gone, this gift to you guys is the way that his legacy will continue and proceed. So I do have significant expectations that you're going to study hard, work hard, and do well. And that when you're having a bad day and thinking about stuff, you'll remember the example of someone who faced 30 years of difficult circumstances with grace and courage. And I expect you to go forward and do a good job. So yes, we want you to we want you to take the MCATs this year. We think it's in your interest to find a way to apply this year, because next year may be a different admission cycle with different focus and different priorities. We do believe you can all get in and do well.
Yes, we do.
And we do plan to provide post-program support as far as strategies to get in and other kinds of support once you finish. I have no idea whether this program will exist next year. The fact that 50 sisters in LA County are pulling this off while most of us are working full-time jobs, I think we deserve a pat on the back. And other people should be doing this. There are bigger organizations and bigger pocketbooks in this town and in the community of people that should get this done. I do plan to see if we can have some funds to do this next year, but a real reason of taking the MCAT this year is so that we can make the business case for this being a bigger program next year.
Absolutely.
Because we went from grant proposal to implementation in 90 days.
Yes.
And so
that's unheard of.
Some of us are ready for a well-earned nap. And actually, if you think about the big dollars that exist in the universe, somebody else should put big dollars on this next year. And that's why we want you to take the test this year, because we'd like to go to some big pharma or some big organizations and do this again for 100 people and start earlier in the year, so we're more organized and we can reach more students.
We won't stress you guys out because we only had 90 days.
That requires us proving our theory that this coaching is going to matter. Because if we do this and it doesn't matter, there's no reason to repeat it. So we wanted you to understand that we really do need you to take this next year so that we can try to make this program exist. We want you to take the exam this year so we have the opportunity to try to get this program alive next year.
Here we go. We're at the 15-minute mark.
Can't commit. Please let us know now, because we still have folks we could probably chase after to get them to replace you.
We don't have to chase anybody. They're killing us with the
right.
Yeah.
Right. We're still getting emails and text messages on this topic. So I'm not saying this to be mean. I'm just saying this, that if we want this to be a bigger program next year, we need everybody to take the test this year. And we may have different priorities, but our priority is growing the program.
Sounds good.
And so we need more money in January. So that's our agenda. And if this isn't for you, that's okay. No harm, no foul.
Got it. Here we go. We got to give the students as much time as they can to ask questions. So I didn't want to interrupt you too much, Sylvia. I want to introduce Chanel Jenkins. She is an amazing assistant to the organization. And she is, for me, in my top middle corner here. And she will also be helping us to answer the emails that you send. So I just need you to know that there are at least 3 dedicated people doing their best to try to keep up with you. The Association of Black Women Physicians has been around. This year will be 40 years. And we have over 600 members, although we really only have maybe about 150 that are actively working. We represent the unicorns in the nation at only 2.5% of all physicians in the nation. So if you claim to be Black and female and want to go into medicine, you are quite the unicorn. You guys already know that from your success as academicians in your undergraduate institutions. So that's important. Now, let's hit some questions. We asked the biggest one, or answered the biggest one. Do you have to take the MCAT this year? The answer is yes. If you can't get a slot because for whatever reason, you can't get the slot where you want, I'm going to suggest to you that you apply someplace else. Apply in a different city or a different county that you'll have to travel to, unfortunately. But convenience, given that you're not going to necessarily get all of this opportunity, is I would go for it. Black psychologists. We are running the program from a very professional standpoint. We have 2 Black psychologists who have solicited other Black psychologists as under the umbrella of a Black psychiatrist to help you with test-taking anxiety. Y'all know what I'm talking about. All of that imposter syndrome. I don't think I lie pants on fire. You didn't get here because you got here by accident. You're not on this call because you got here by accident. You got here because you earned the right to be here. And there's no question that I believe even without us, most of you would probably still get into med school. But probably you'd have to pay a lot more money out of your pocket. You might have to be working a whole lot more. I'm not sure what you'd have to do. But we're giving you, I think, one of the opportunities of a lifetime, okay? Including paying for your application. So that's done. Next. There was a question about, somebody else asked me this question. If you don't get in the program, which you should be on this call, do you get your $200 back? I refunded 48 students on Friday. That $200 is back in your pocket. The other 54 that should be on this call, even though there's a few of you that didn't make it, yes, you will get your $200. It's easy for me to go right up to your name. I got an Excel spreadsheet, click it, and it's done. So we don't want your money. We want your talent. But I knew that if you guys would at least invest, you'd have some skin in the game. And yes, you get your $200 back, okay? And that is on August 28th. I will just hit the button and give you all back your money. If you didn't pay, you ain't getting nothing back. And yes, there are those of you who did not pay, and that's all right too, because there was enough money in the grant to support you because we wanted you to be in the program. All right, I'm quiet now. Start putting questions in the chat or raise your hand. You know how to use the hand button because you guys are all smart people. Questions. If you're going to apply submitting our application through MCAT, what month would you suggest? And if we do it while we're in the program, can we have help with personal statements? The answer is yes to all those questions. And here's the deal about submitting your application. 2 ways to do it. You could submit your application after you get your scores back, or you could submit your application before pending the score. And if you like the score, you go ahead and push it through. And if you don't like it, you can cancel. That is what people do. Okay. So I will say you make the decision about what feels best for you. Anybody on this call that gets a 5, 10 and above better apply. Or at least if you don't apply, you're going to apply next year. That's the 75th to 80th percentile. Not bad. Okay. If you get, for some people who have taken the test before, they got a 498, they got a 500, let me be clear. There are a lot of prep programs out there. There are a lot of people out there who will tell you that a 500 or 490, yeah, I got in. I need you to understand what kind of unicorn you're talking to. The likelihood that you could get into med school with a 498 or a 500 on the MCAT without a GPA, science, biology, chemistry, physics, and math, at least 3.4, 3.5 and above is a long shot. I am not saying it's not possible, because I know some people that had a 500 and had a 3.3. They had an amazing application and they knew the people at the school. If you one of those folks, I got you. But remember, the number of times you apply to med school, we rack it all up. I look at every single time you've applied, and every time you apply, your application must be significantly different. For the UC system here in California and for the highly competitive universities, the top 25, you only get 3 shots. So if you apply more than 3 times and you are not competitive, stop it. We got to stop. So basically at the first time you apply, don't get in, that's all right. But that second time, this application needs to be amazing. And yes, I will help you. And you will be part of a program, if you guys are not, part of Sister to Sister, which is what we teach our undergraduate students and even some high school students about what it takes to get where you guys are right now. The next step, which is where you are, is preparation for the MCAT. I call it the Satan rule, 666. 6 weeks, 6 hours a day, 6 days a week. Done. If you commit, you will absolutely do well in the MCAT. But that's a lot. So we broke it up into 8 weeks, time to both be on Kaplan plus live instruction with cars and the psychologist working with you 1 hour per week, and yoga, I believe it's on Fridays. When I say I need you to be there 80% of the time, I need you to be there 80% of the time. You guys are smart enough to multiply 80% times 8 weeks and see how many sessions you can miss. I am not going to micromanage any of you. All of you are exceptionally talented individuals. But if they're sending me the survey monkeys and you guys are not showing up, I'm not going to be very happy about that. Not that what can I do about it, right? But what it says to me is, why did I waste my money? And I feel like it's my money. David Rogers' money is our money. We picked you guys for a reason, but y'all can figure it out. And Kaplan is amazing because I heard that if you can't make it to something, they've got recordings, they've got all kinds of stuff, right? So they'll figure out how to make it happen so that you guys can have your schedules accommodated as best you can. Nobody wants you homeless and hungry and, you know, living with your parents if you don't like them. I get it. I understand. On the same hand, I need you committed for 8 weeks, period. I don't have prior experience taking the MCAT, although I'm not saying I can't. I'm not sure whether I'll be fully ready by September. What should I do? Take the course. We will teach you what you need to know and make sure you don't miss any of your psychological sessions so that you guys will get the strength and the support and the test taking and anxiety measures, the coping mechanisms that help you to be able to address it. What we're talking about is so a man thinketh, so is he. Soon as you start thinking you can't do something, what happens on the test? So that the psychologists are going to teach you about how to approach taking the test. Because there's lots of people around you telling you what you can't do, despite your exceptionalism. Remember, I read your transcripts. So you have, all of it is within you. All of it is within you. So do not believe that you can't do it. You got to this point. I don't think we let anybody in, Sylvia, that we thought just couldn't make it, right?
Oh no, we were
right.
Blessed to have
I got rid of a lot of
very
people.
Very strong candidates.
Yeah, because I wanted you guys to be the applications in front of me at my admissions committee meeting, because believe me, there are very few people like me that sit on admissions committees just actively advocating for folks that look like me, both male and female. Because there's plenty of them that do not care. And the quickest way to weed you out is the MCAT score, or you say you Black and everything in the application is very generic, doesn't really talk about, I don't know, community, talks about none of that, and your scores are weak. So I can teach you a lot about the application, okay? All right, it says, when will we start the mentoring process for applications, considering the application is open for submission on AMCAS? So here's the deal about getting your application together. What I would like you to do, it takes far less time to prepare a personal statement than it does to prepare for the MCAT. If you want to submit your application and you feel like you got enough time to study and submit your personal statement, then that's fine. Because all I'm going to do is ask you to contact me so that we can have a Zoom call, and you submit that personal statement to me and we'll go over it together. But it does not matter how good your personal statement is, and it does not matter how good your community service is if your scores are low. Let me say that one more time. If your MCAT score is not competitive, your application won't be looked at. So people who talk about, well, you got to write a sob story, you got to write this really strong personal statement. You do. But if your numbers are weak, ain't nobody gonna look at it. So I'm giving you the information that I have when I read 26 applications every week, starting August 23rd. I go all the way through till March, on top of my job as an OBGYN, taking call every single week. Just know that. So I know exactly what a personal statement should look like at a school where the average GPA to get in is 3.7 and the average MCAT score is 515 and above. Average MCAT at Harvard University is 517, and the average science GPA is 3.5, 3.6 and above. Kaiser is the same. So what am I telling you? You ain't got to be that, but I need you competitive. Because when you can get close to those numbers, 510, even 508, I need you up, I need you science strong. We are competitive. And remember, you are competing against other people like you. You are not being compared against your white colleagues or your Asian colleagues. You're being compared against the Black folks, but also still competitive folks for med school. So you want to apply to schools where they have good, strong support for their students, and that they have a lot of good information about their African-American students. Apply to a school in the middle of Kansas, and they have very few Black students, you might find yourself a lot less competitive there. Okay, so there's some more questions here. I started to apply, but decided not to apply for this cycle because my MCAT score won't be available. Are you saying I can still apply this year? Of course you can still apply this year. I started in my personal statement. I stopped because this too, can I get assistance with this? You can get assistance with everything, but what's the main thing? Take the MCAT. Get your numbers together, because all the rest of this ain't gonna make no difference if your numbers are not good. Can you turn your application in September? Of course you can. And yes, you're still competitive. I know the application cycle opened in May 27th. You know who applies on May 27th? The people with a 4.0 and a 520. Okay? So you're still quite competitive if your application, we finished the MCAT first week of September, have your application finished by the end of September. I think we'll be fine. And you have that time no longer studying for the MCAT to just devote to it. That's at least 3 weeks. I think you'll be just fine. Interviews, I think, start for us October. I think something like that. I think they start in October. So turning in your application in September is still just fine. Okay. All right. When we register for our MCAT, do you want us to send our MCAT test date? Yes. Send all your information, because we're going to use the demographics to track you, not your name, just the data. Okay. How many students applied? What were their scores? How well did we do? I tried signing up in September, but did not find the availability for the entire state of California. Is there another site? You mean all of California? You want to apply to Arizona? 6-hour ride. My daughter goes to University of Arizona. I'm just saying. Tank of gas. It's worth it. I know you probably think I'm crazy. If California is a limitation,
I think one of
Nevada, Las Vegas, go close. Yes.
Well, I think also if you do the math on, go price the program you're getting. You can go,
$4,000.
Y'all got your little cell phones, go price the program you're getting. You're getting that for zero or nothing. So that does give you some budget room to take a nice vacation in Des Moines and then take your MCAT.
There you go. Okay. Dr. Carlisle, something else. If you sign up for a test that's closed, get on the wait list. Most of the time you'll get it because people drop the test. There you go. See, y'all helping each other. I'm loving that. Loving it. And that's a good thing too. I know that there is we use HIPAA in medicine, so we can't, give information out on a patient. And I feel like what a unique community. Right now we have 50 people on the call, 50 people who are willing to be abused for the next 8 weeks. I think that is a great camaraderie. So what I would think is, if you are interested in, just do this, put your name in the, what do you call that? In the chat, if you were interested in creating like a little group, okay? Y'all gonna be in groups for both the psychological support as well as the yoga, you know what I'm saying? But all I'm saying is, there's a lot of good information that you guys have that you could give to one another. And especially since you're peer-to-peer, I think that would really be helpful. Does that make sense? And there are people on the call who have taken the MCAT before. There are people who have applied before. We tried to have not as many of those students because we did not want to have too many folks that were, this is the it. I want to be so stressed out. But I think that that's really good information. I love it. I love it. So get your names in there and say, look, I really want to support, we all want to support each other. You guys, I swear to God, will be colleagues for life. Remember what I said about the numbers. There's only 5% of the nation total Black physicians. That's both males and females. It's 2.5, and it ain't changed over the past 30 years. So the people that you are going to med school with, the people who you're studying for the MCAT with, these are the same people y'all gonna be talking to for the rest of your medical lives. So you're creating a community right now.
And as far as the idea of our sessions recorded, yes, we will, I think probably having a group me, since that's an easy way to communicate. And yes, Kaplan's agreed to record the cars. And if you're thinking about if we were going to do this program again, having advance notice so it's not everybody's drawers are on fire trying to get it done. Yes,
Yeah.
if we did it again, that's the first thing we would do is have, be able to announce the awardees with like
Yeah.
a month's notice. Wouldn't that have
Hello.
been nice?
We tried. We really tried, guys, but we did the best we could. Okay. It says my car session will start clashing with my science session starting July. What do you advise about that? What I would do is we'll take that question under advisement and talk to Jessica Peterson, who is the coordinator for Kaplan. We also have another one. I forget the other lady's name, starts with an M. CARS is only for 3 weeks, guys. It's 3 weeks. It's live instruction. Let me be clear. It is the most important part of your score. Not lying. You can get like 30% on that psychological component. The PBBL on the biology part, do pretty good. But if you bomb your CARS, I swear to God, there go your applications. I'm not lying. It's critical analysis and reasoning. Yes.
And part of the reason we selected this expensive program with CARS is to give you transferable skills for when you have to take USMLE and you take your boards. Because let's say medical school throws out standardized tests. I don't plan to live long enough before they throw standardized tests out of the board prep and out of getting your license. So these are skills you will be thanking us for 15 years down the road. And of course, donating so we can do this again 15 years down the road.
There you go. Yeah, so the reason why we said that, so critical analysis and reasoning is an extremely important part of the test. The people who score the lowest on that part are usually students. It's not about content as much as it is about your critical thinking and reading skills. If English is not your native language or your first language, you're going to have a problem. So you got to be able to read faster in English, analyze the information, and know that sometimes the answer is not in the passage. The answer is a deduction of information that then you look at the answer for ones to choose from and choose the best answer. I know it's hard, guys. I know it. But real life practicing medicine is just like this. It's not always cut and dry. The patient doesn't always tell you what's wrong with them. You have to figure it out, have a working diagnosis, and then implement and then change on a dime if necessary because it's not working. But ultimately accepting responsibility for the patient, accountability as a physician, and being a good doctor. Yes, it is not just a job. And all of you guys put that in your personal statements. I was so proud to read that. Everybody here feels like, it appears, they have a purpose and a mission for what they want to do. If y'all think that being a physician is just a job and somehow or another it's going to pay you a lot of money, you can give up now. Because there's plenty of other jobs that'll pay you almost as much, if not more, with far less headache, less depression, less anxiety. Just so you know. All right. Is it any consent? Oh, thank you, Samira. And she said, where will the recordings be located? We're going to put I think, can we have like a little, we have a YouTube channel for a sister to sister, but I don't know. Can we make up something? Chanel probably can help us with that.
I can make a playlist on our YouTube channel.
There you go.
Recordings. Also for the group chat, could you guys please send me your phone number? You can DM it to the ABWP organization chat, and I'll make the group me chat for that.
There you go. Excellent.
Thanks.
I love the young people. Love them. Okay. All righty. Other questions? Raise your hand, put it in the chat. I know you guys might feel a little bit anxious, nervous. I don't know. You guys just met me. I know I'm a lot. That's me every day. Sorry. But I care. I really do care. I love you guys. And I just want you to be so successful. Will it be group one-on-one? Yeah, it will be group. We initially paid for one-on-one sessions for everybody to have the opportunity, but it costs too much. So no, it will be group.
Well, see, part of the issue, to be fair, was we had the decision of add 5 more people or do individual. So the reason the individual got dropped is we added 5 people. And so I want you to that's why I'm talking about being serious about the opportunity. Because we made a deliberate decision to expand beyond 50. We only had to get 50, y'all, but we decided this was important enough to bring some extra folks on. And if you're a member of the Divine Nine, I plan to be talking trash about frats and Phi Beta Sigma because the brothers spent more money on Super Bowl weekend for liquor than this program. So I want some more money. So yes,
I got you.
we'll be, yeah, we made the decision to some trade-offs. And if we got more money, we could add some more things in. So particularly if you were Divine Nine, get your frat brothers to give us some money, direct a donation to the program. You can brag you're in the program, get us some money.
Fabi, I don't know if I'm saying her name, Jean Fabi or Fabi Jean. She had her hand up. You want to talk to us? Question?
I guess this is like a more personal one, but I'm working full time right now. So I've been able to balance everything, and my manager is telling me that, you know, like for the second half of the program, I'll be able to get the days off that I need to take my courses. But right now for cars, it being Monday through Friday, it like I'm on the East Coast, so then it's like 12:30 p.m. like in the middle of my schedule, and I have classes.
Yeah.
So like, will that, you think, impede on like my progress if I'm not at the live sessions and only study from the recorded sessions?
I can't know that. I would say that the fact that you're not going to be able to attend as regularly as you would like, as what we would like. I'm not going to tell you not to be a part of the program. Let me say that, because I think you sent me this message and I said, you know what, dude, I think you're going to have to just try it. You know what I mean? I think you are, and I've read your application, you are motivated enough to figure out how to make it happen. I really do believe that. And I think that the parts that you can get to, you just do the best you can. Does that make sense? And that you'll be able to make the other 5 weeks, you know what I mean, consistently. You do the best you can. Okay. I'm not some hard-nosed whatever. I know I might come across a bit that way, but I'm not. I really think everyone try to take advantage of every opportunity as much as you can. You're not going to quit your job. You're not going to move into your parents' house if you ain't living with them. You're not going to be homeless. Okay. This is quote unquote just the MCAT. It's important, but it is just the MCAT. Okay. So I would say, yes, do what you can. Okay. So I don't know, work with your boss, contact Jessica. Remember, Jessica Peterson is our coordinator at Kaplan. All right. Now, don't get me wrong. I can call up Jessica in a minute and say, what are we doing? But they have it set, you know what I mean? Because they want to get it done early, because it's really important. And it was an additional $500 per student in order to get both live instruction and recorded. They're not playing with you. And the reason why they put that much time into it is because they know that part of the test is so important. So my thought is, if you personally feel like you just are not going to be able to put enough time into it, you might, I know it's hard, but you might want to say, you know what, Dr. Hines, I can't do it. Give this to another student. I'm not telling you to do that.
But we also,
at the same
time, we're trying to be reasonable, because we know that if we had told you 2 months ago, you would have arranged your life in advance. And so we're trying to be reasonably flexible, because we know that the application was only out a month and you only had a week's notice.
Yeah.
So we're not, you know, horrible Cruella de Vil kind of people, because we know that if we had told you in advance, we would have had a chance. But we want you to be serious about it, because and if, you know, given the fact that you have to work and we gave you a week's notice, this is the best you can do, but you're going to give us 100%. Okay, that's fine. But,
do the best you can.
Thank you.
Okay, so somebody's asking about, after finishing the second Kaplan course, will we be prepared to take the MCAT directly after, or should we be allowed for a few weeks? No, you ready to take it right then. The way this course is set up, you are going to be ready on August the 28th to pick the day that you have available in those first weeks of September and take your test. You are not going to wait another week. No, you're not. You're going to take your test, because you will have the freshest, most reliable information at hand right then. Somebody put in, since there was a COVID crisis all year, there are opportunities to get virtual shadowing, which, oh, that's somebody helping someone else. That's wonderful. Yeah, I was on the admissions committee. It was a very different year. You know, all the interviews were virtual, very little of the shadowing. There was no shadowing, obviously, because it wasn't safe. And so people had to be creative with how they were able to get more real-time medical experience. Maybe it was just on virtual online Zoom calls, talking to physicians. We understood that. We really did. But let me be clear. The MCAT never was less important. People missed the MCAT because of the doggone COVID crisis, especially in March and whenever. It was terrible. They figured it out. People got COVID. There are people in those applications talking about how did COVID affect you on the secondaries. The parents died. They got so sick. They were hospitalized. We understood it. But I never saw anybody get the ultimate benefit of the doubt and say, oh yeah, let's just let them in because they had a rough time. Don't nobody care. They do not. Either you got the numbers and a good application or not. I've been around a long time. I've been doing this over 10 years. I know exactly what a good application looks like, what a competitive applicant looks like, and what one doesn't. And it has nothing to do per se with being black or white. I know what it takes to be a physician. So this is a great course. You're going to be fine. Is there a daily, weekly schedule? Yes, absolutely, there is. And I have the schedule that was sent to me. I'll send it to Chanel, but I know this person who just got added, not added, but who's here. And we'll get that information to you. That's Miss Corliss. I saw that. And yes, that's good. Okay, mine's on 26, perfect. I don't think we want to wait. Yeah, see, give y'all love. Give the love to all of y'all. Do not wait. Black is in. I can say it. Blackity black, black, black right now is in. And it's lovely because I can say that to y'all on this call, right? So I don't feel like I'm, diversity, equity, and inclusion, because that's my hat too. Yes, this is the 1 year where being black is an advantage. And let me say something about all the people who are from North Africa, Egypt, that don't want to claim to be black until they put it on their application. You know what I'm talking about. You'd be surprised at how many people check of African descent or African American on an application, but have no lived experience of being black and an American. You understand me? I mark way down for that on an application because I understand how shrewd and resourceful medical students are. So they want to get the benefit of the doubt, to get extra consideration, to be pulled from the applicant pool and have their application read individually, not to go through the computer and have it cut you off on the MCAT or the scores. Why? Because you checked black. But then I read your application and not now activity. Nothing on there speaks to what it means to be black in America, what it means to have a focus on maybe community medicine, or even if you want to be an orthopedic surgeon, understanding what it's going to take in order to be in a surgical subspecialty and to be all that and then some. Because someone in your community and your family, I don't care if you got family members that are physicians, it is different. So yes, we see through an application when you check black, but your skin folk and ain't kinfolk. So yes, I see all that too. Here comes Tabitha. This is one of our black psychologists. So we want to introduce you to her. I see you, Tabitha, coming in. Hello, hello. She's coming. When she comes in, Chanel, let me know.
Okay.
Okay. So someone else put in here that, is that University of Washington? Is that what you call UW? I think it's Mastual. I don't know how to say it. Inu? I'm messing up his name.
Yeah, it's UW.
Excellent. UW, exactly. So UW's got a great program. I went up there to interview for med school. It rains all the time. It's beautiful, but it's a great place.
But Seattle is not cold, so it's a good place if you don't like the frozen north of the East Coast. As a person from that part of the
Portland.
Yeah, that's the first time in 500 years it's hot.
Yes, no problem. However, at least the 50 schools that I'm going to give you, at least on our list of schools that you're going to apply to, you're going to apply all over the country, okay? None of this, I don't want to live there, I don't want to apply there. If your science GPA in biology, chemistry, and physics is not a 3.5, I don't want to hear none of that, okay? Because those are the ones that are 3.7, and I'm not talking about all others. So all of y'all that tried to BS me with those wonderful A's in your psychological courses and your A's in your English, I love it. But that is not biology, chemistry, and physics. Padding the scores and then withdrew from your chemistry class. I know how to do it. What I want is biology, chemistry, physics, and math, and I need that science GPA as strong as it can be, at least a 3.0 and above. There's nobody on this call that does not have that. And there are quite a few of you that are way more competitive. But don't get it twisted. Y'all need all the rest. Yes, somebody's asking.
Tabitha is here.
Yes. Doctor. You got
Hello.
51 students on the call that just want to hear
Okay.
your voice and talk about what you have in store for them with regard to test anxiety and the reduction of drama as they prepare to take their MCAT. You have the floor.
Okay. Well, first off, congratulations for coming this far. It is a beautiful thing, and we need more doctors of color, specifically in the medical field. But you didn't just get here by chance. You did a lot of work. You had a lot of exams, papers, and everything else. And this is just the beginning. And when you come across this type of milestone that you need to achieve in many ways, because this is the first step and there's other parts of it, you need to be ready. And you need to be ready, not just physically, but you need to be ready mentally and emotionally. It's taxing and it's not easy. But with that being said, because I've gotten my doctorate degree, I know what it's like to get in there and do what you need to do, be one of few in the room. You need to have a mindset that you're going to do what you need to do, but you're going to do it in a manner that doesn't take you to the point that you stress out, that you just don't want to do it anymore. So we have this thing, breath work and mindfulness. Very Eurocentric science, psychology, we all know it, but we use it and we do what we need to do with it. And most of us as African-American clinicians, as we work in it, we tweak it to work for our own. And so we come present in the room and we deal with practical application. First of all, again, a round of applause to get here. It is just the beginning, but it definitely constitutes you believing in yourself, and how you believe in yourself is you love yourself and you like yourself, but I won't go off into that tangent. However, you need the skill set, the mindset, and the wherewithal to not just get through, but as I said, know that you know what you're doing and go in there with calmness. We're going to do some reframing of what this test is about, in as much as you can do it and you can't do it. We're going to do some restructuring. You're going to do some journal work. And no, we are not going to do it on the iPhone. You are not going to do it on the computer. You're going to get your little $1.99 notebook and your $1.99 pen, and you are going to write, because that is very cathartic process that you need to do. All of the visual that we do as far as the electronics, social media, that's great. But the catharticism, excuse me, can't even find the word today, but you know what I'm talking about. It gives you a therapeutic way of expressing yourself, releasing, because we have this thing called the cognitive triangle. We got right here, thoughts, feelings, behavior. They go one in the same. The thoughts are going to affect the feeling is going to be behavior goes another thought and goes round and round. We're going to restructure that so that you have an understanding of, you're going to have a thought and it's going to create a feeling, but we're going to get in there, we're going to reframe and restructure those distorted negative thoughts so that you can be in a place where you have belief in yourself. And when that feeling comes up, that anxiety, that depression, that I don't know how I got here, we're going to address that. And we're going to do some inner self work. And then we're going to adapt and teach you some new behaviors to implement. That's just a shortcut of it. It's a lot more extensive. We're going to break you up into 2 cohorts. The final number will be split in half. I believe it's 54. So we're going to split that in half. You will be given a schedule of when your days will be. They will be in the morning. I will have that information sent to you because I have a listing of all your names and email addresses. And we're going to get started. We're going to start it next week and get to work. It's going to be good, but you're going to have to work. And I don't want to be the only one up there talking. I'm a therapist. I'm supposed to be there sitting and listening to you. Not giving you advice per se, but having you tell me what's going on with you. But we're going to do some coaching in this. So we're going to prepare you, but we need to have it be interactive. It's coaching, but I need to hear your voice. You need to come with a place of authenticity. If you're scared, then scared. Let's talk about it. That's what process is about. Don't try to sit up there in front like you're all good and it's okay. No, it's not. This is a major thing. So what we have in the room is what we have in the room. And I have a very good way of observing behavior, body language, even with this video. And I will call you out and we will talk about it because that's what process is about. It's not just the test taking, the reframing, the restructuring, the mindset. It's getting real in the room. And I do that very well. Are there any questions? Y'all ain't got no questions?
I have a
I
question.
would.
I think they're just overwhelmed with what I hope is the comprehensive nature of what we tried to put together in such a short period of time.
Right.
I'm so very proud to have you as one of my colleagues. I think they're just going to get such a benefit. Dr. Paula Rogers, who is an eye surgeon, was not available to be on the call, but she will be your yoga instructor. She is certified in 3 types of yoga and breath, and she's amazing. She will be on Fridays, and she will be doing, I think it's 45 minutes to an hour of yoga. And if you can't make it, we talked about that, but the combination of the psychological reframing and getting your mind ready, the yoga and the posturing and just getting that body and stretching out and all that good breathing, and then the just straight up academics of both the CARS, the critical analysis live part of the program, plus Kaplan and all of its wealth of information, including the fact that you still have access to this program for another year. If for whatever reason things don't work out, you still have access. So this is an amazing opportunity. I'm so very excited to see the beginnings as we get going. I know that it looks like Fabi, somebody just had a question. Raising your hand. It's 5:53. Time is money. Time is important. So I want to try to get, if you have a question for Dr. Tabitha,
Okay.
or are we journaling every day? My internet cut. I'm not.
Okay. Are you journaling every day? Well, you'll find out when we get to
Okay,
class.
there you go. Okay.
Yes.
There you
and
go.
So let me just give you a little bit. We're going to do some psychoeducation on anxiety, depression. We're going to do some basic self-care. We're going to do some gratitude journaling and exercising and exercises. We're going to do the mental health test study tips, distress tolerance, restructuring and reframing, as I said, getting in there, changing those core beliefs that come from that distorted mindset and cognitive processing, grounding, mindfulness, meditation, deep breathing, relaxation. We're going to give you another week of the mental health test study tips, and graciousness. You got to be compassionate with yourselves. This is a long process. We all got through in different ways. If I can get through that damn dissertation, y'all gonna get through medical school. So,
there you go.
There you go.
Thank you so much, Tabitha.
You're welcome. Not a
there
problem.
You go. And I wore my t-shirt, white coats, Black Matter, Black Docs. Okay. Absolutely. So there's somebody else, I think, that wanted to, there was a question. I know it's so many people, but anybody else? Any other questions? Because Tabitha's on the line.
Okay. Yes.
Anything
Sabrina?
else? I have no idea.
You're welcome.
Okay. Thank you so much. Okie doke.
Everybody's excited. Oh, I'm excited. Everyone's excited for psychology. Yay.
Yes. Truly, the world needs some mental wellness right now. Okay.
Absolutely.
Some skill sets. Okay.
Yeah.
Conflict resolution. Lord have mercy.
There you go.
Sylvia. Question? I'm in speaker gallery view. I see all these beautiful faces. I'm putting them all to the names. And we went through all these applications. Lord have mercy. There are very few men on the call. I just want to say congratulations, man. We looked hard to find you. God, we did. And we're proud to have you.
Our brothers at Chi Delta Mu want to support you. So we really,
absolutely.
Y'all were some hard people to find.
Yes, we are very proud to have you on the call. But we expect no less. So I know y'all be working hard. And for those who are like, well, I don't know about all this. I don't think it's going to be whatever. You let me know, because the MCAT will spank anybody's tail. And that's the person who got a 528 all the way down to the person who got a 458. I don't know if you go that low, but I know you get 480s, I think. The key, though, is that I know that all of you have what it takes. You are all enough right now. I already read your applications. I already know you got what it takes. What you're going to can do is convince the rest of the world how exceptional you are. I already know that. I'll give you a few tools. So very proud. And I think where we at right now, I think we're at 5, 6 o'clock, something like that, right?
5:56.
5:56. We got 4 more minutes per se. because I know your time is important, and I know we're talking to the East Coast as well. So, and so I, you know, it's 8 o'clock at night. So, you know, other questions? I see Tiffany Davis. She was doing something. Okay. Anybody else?
Yeah, I have a quick question. I'm sorry to like interrupt.
Not a problem.
I first just want to say thank you all for this. Like, this is such an amazing opportunity. I won't lie, I've been getting a little emotional on the call, so I just want to thank you guys for giving us this wonderful opportunity. I wouldn't imagine, I will have no idea how I'd be able to even prepare for this MCAT. And so thank you all for that. I did have a question regarding the just regarding y'all, if it's possible. I am a first generation student, so the MCAT process, this whole pre-med process is just very new to me. So I was wondering if you guys would be comfortable in, you know, having us reach out to y'all and in seek of guidance or mentorship.
Absolutely. I run the mentorship program for Sister to Sister. Remember, we have a separate program that is all about mentorship for undergraduate students, which most of you are not a part of. Some of my students were accepted. I've got a couple of them on here, and the others, I think, just decided to wait because they weren't as prepared, because they trust me and they know that, you know, they really want to get in. And I said, right now, it's not the time. Let's do this, this, and this. This is what we're doing in the post-bac program. This is what we're going to do. Many of you have taken either a formal post-bac or part of the post-bac or had a post-bac in the past. And so you understand what it takes, because you know that biology, chemistry, physics and math are beyond important. And so if you don't have what it takes, don't waste your time applying. So yes, write this number down. It was on one of those papers. I do this all the time, and I feel very proud to know that most people do not abuse it. My phone number is 310-463-5557. Once again, 310-463-5557. Dr. LaTanya Hines. Now,
and I don't, excuse me, LaTanya, one quick second.
And that was one of the other things we wanted to give to applicants and participants is some continuity through the process. And so that's why we're partnering with Chi Delta Mu for Eric, because, you know, we don't do brothers. That's why we're the Association of Black Women Physicians. So we actually were intentional about,
okay.
All right.
Yeah, we date you and marry you, but we don't mentor you. So yes, and we mother some of you. But yeah, so we're intentional about setting up relationships to get you through the process. And so, you know, some of this, I can forward the brothers to Dr. Weathers. His email, he's ready to talk to people at any time, because I talked to him last night at dinner time.
So we can get you guys going.
We have a plan.
Yeah. So yes, I will read your application. I will read your AMCAS application. I will read your, whatever you want me to read. I'll set you up with a Zoom call. Now here's what I do. I'm going to tell you to set me up with the Zoom. I'm going to tell you, send me the Zoom. You say, I'll say, I'm available on Saturday at 2. You say, that sounds okay. 30 minutes. You put it in, I'll be there. Okay. If you send me an email, let's start off first of all. I am Dr. LaTanya Hines. Nobody calls me LaTanya. Nobody calls me Miss Hines. It's Dr. Hines to you. If you send me an email, I need capitals, I need periods, and I don't need slang. You are talking to a physician. I need you to always think like that when you're talking to physicians. These are people that you want to access to get their knowledge, for them to help you. We are giving you the ultimate in what we call social capital. How many white people do you know that know other physicians that can go and be in their office? They wake up with them, grow up with them. They get the information the rest of their lives. They decide they want to be like mommy and daddy. It's just the next step is to see what the process is like. Very few people on this call have that. That means that how many of you know somebody who sits on the admissions committee? I never knew anybody. So for me to be sitting on the committee I'll bring the dean to the meeting, so that you can see what the dean says and does as we make decisions about final selection. I'm not just reading your application. I'm the one that says, yes, I think this person should get in. And then I fight for you. And I'm pretty loud on the committee, so very few people come up against me. Versus when I say, nope, they don't even fight. They're like, no problem. 14 people on the committee. We interviewed, what is it, 10,000 applications. We interviewed 750. We had 50 spots. So we had 119 people apply to this program. We had 50 spots. We pushed it and got 55. And then one person withdrew. And that's the one that's in the Olympics. So that's not too doggone bad. That's amazing. Y'all keep rooting for her. Her name, what's her name? Iman Ball. She's fencing. Oh. She applied to the program,
yes,
but
the
she
fencing
can't.
sister. We all have
right.
to keep.
But she couldn't do it because she'll be in Japan. So that's amazing. Okay. So yes, I will help you in any way that I can. Here's some. I gave you the ground rules to send me an email. Last thing. Yes, you can text me because you guys are young people. People text all the time. First of all, I ain't gonna text you back in seconds. So let's just know that I got a job. If you text me, tell me who you are. Say, I'm so-and-so, and I just had this quick question. And yes, I will text you right back. If you think you're gonna have a conversation with me, nope. Better send me an email, that's better. And then we could talk on that. Does that make sense? Okay, and if you really wanna talk to me, say, I really would like to talk to you. Can I get a, what do you call that thing? Do the Zoom, okay? And then we could talk, all right? But I don't wanna hear about your sob stories and how you're feeling all anxious and you got depression and life is not treating you well. You need to go talk to Tabitha about that.
Yes,
all right?
Speak to Dr. Taylor, and I was gonna tell you, yes. We have different components that we wanted to add, but we needed to get it together. So, same with Dr. Hines, Dr. Tabitha Taylor, that is how you refer to me. I will give you a 15-minute consultation. I can't give you a full session, but I will personally do this. Not my colleagues, but I will personally do this. If you need to reach out, the young woman who said, I'm very emotional, that's what you're supposed to be. You don't have to mask. It's a very difficult process. And that's for you and I to talk about for that short time, not long, but enough for you to check in and we get that going. So that number you can reach me at is 424-324-1518. Leave me a voicemail with your first and last name. Let me know that you are from this program because I've got lots of clients that have this number. So I want to differentiate you from my clients. And then give me a time that you're available and we'll make it work. I will see at least one time every person if you want to, and we'll make it work over this period of time. You have.
And if you need a personal session, she said that she would be willing to give you a personal session, a real session, but unfortunately we could not afford to pay the full price for that. So just keep that in mind. She is a real psychologist. Okay. Other questions? Amazing. I'm so excited. So excited.
It's exciting.
All right. So Chanel's going to help us with trying to make sure that we can get this on a little whatever so that you guys have the recording today. I don't really think that I think you guys got a lot of hopefully good information. We answered the questions that most folks want to know, and that is take the MCAT this year. If you feel like you're ready, and I'll help you with that, apply this year as well. It's a great year to apply. It's rare I've ever said that, but it's a very good year to apply to medical school.
Okay. I'd like to ask a quick question.
Sure.
Kweku Mensah. First name is Eric. Middle name is Kweku. I like to go by Kweku. First of all, I'd like to say a big thank you to all of you for reading through our applications and giving us, for some of us, a very life-changing opportunity. I'm a first generation immigrant and first generation student. So studying for the MCAT when English is my third language is extremely tough, and having the MCAT having to be my first taste of American Standard exam, I think it's a pretty harsh one. So I felt that I really needed some guidance, some structure to studying and trying to take the MCAT. I'm also a victim of perfectionism, so I like to do things once and get it done the best way. I like to put my best foot forward. So this is a very important, it was very important for me to apply to this program. And I really did that in like 3 minutes after I just received when the email was shared with me. So I'm really glad that you all took your time to go through applications and give me this opportunity. I have a few questions. I think first and foremost, I'd like to ask that, do you suggest that we reach out to the Kaplan representative or whoever they may be directly when we have issues concerning schedules and the class? I'm asking this because the CARS class started today. I'm still in my master's program. I'm wrapping up my thesis. It's a lot of work.
It was recorded.
So I would like to find out, the recording, if it's recorded also.
Yeah, we knew about it, not necessarily from you, but there's several people on the call that the way that they have it set up, that they had to record it because they knew that there were several students that were not going to be able to make it. So they understood that as an accommodation. We will work with them. So the logistics of getting the information from Kaplan, you can't get on, you're not getting information, call. And I think it's, we got to get your name. I know it's probably Jessica Peterson, but it might be the other lady who's doing our coordination. That's it. You could always send that email to me so that I could follow it up and say, hey, some of our students are having this problem. This is what we need to do. So as far as accessing information, I would go directly to who's giving you the information. So you say that you weren't able to get to the CARS course. Is that information going to be available for you to get? Yes. If you say I can't get to none of the courses, that's when you call me, because I'm saying perhaps you don't need to be part of the program, which I know that's not true. So you see where the difference is with questions. So am I able, myself or Dr. Carlisle or even Dr. Taylor, to be able to get in the background and figure out how to make the program accommodating to you? We'll do the best we can. But ultimately you signed up to be available between June 28th to August 28th, taking that test in the first week or so, a couple weeks of September. That's what you signed up for. Okay, and we'll do our best to make sure that we do as much accommodation on our ends.
One last question, sorry.
Sure.
I wanted to ask Dr. Taylor.
Yes.
I wanted to find out, in terms of reaching out to you with any concern or questions, how would you prefer that being done? On like through email or number or Zoom, and what kind of professional help do you think that this program permits us to have in terms of reaching out to you?
Well, what you can do, like with Dr. Hines, you can set up a Zoom. First off, I need you to call me and we have a conversation regarding time availability and so forth. And we can do a 15-minute check-in, like to call it a consultation. That's what we usually do with new patients, or a check-in. But over the course of the 8 weeks, we'll be addressing certain things. So for the first hour, we'll be going over some lockstep different processes and things that we're gonna take care of. And then the last 30 minutes, that's all y'all. So you ask the questions, what do you need to go over, processing. That is just natural, organic, what's in the room, and let's talk about it and work on it. And that's gonna be something that I'm gonna make sure that is in every single part of the next 8 weeks, the different sessions that you'll be in.
Sounds good. And someone they're sending, there's some nice little DM chats coming to me. If after you have this opportunity, after listening to us, and you feel like, I just don't know, I don't think that I'm going to be ready to take the test. Let me be clear. I read your application. I know what your grades are. If you think that you're not going to be able to take it because you're not going to be able to study as much as you feel you need to study, and you're not going to be able to complete the program, that's one thing. But if you're having second thoughts because of your academics, because you're like, I don't know, and that's what the program is about, y'all. Right now, the application that you submitted is enough. But if you feel like you can't study, then you're right. Because you got to take the MCAT no matter what. You want to go to med school. So either you're going to take it
that's
or not.
important, because
Say it.
Yeah, Dr. Hines and I read every single application
Everyone.
and looked at every single transcript. Dr. Hines and I have been on admissions committees. So you have an opinion. We believe our opinions are better substantiated than yours.
Yeah.
And so if you're willing to commit to do the work, we think you can get in. Now, if you choose not to do the work, the purpose of my bloviating was so that you could graciously withdraw and we can replace you. But we read your transcripts already. So, and we've been on admissions committees. So not all opinions are equal.
And also too, if you're comparing yourself to other students who are applying to say the top 10 schools in the nation, remember, all you need is MD or DO behind your name. Hello, 150 med schools in the nation. Let me say that again, 150 med schools in the nation. So MD or DO behind your name. So if you're thinking, well, I don't think I'm going to be able to get in because I don't meet the criteria of the people that I knew that got into UCLA. Well, that might be true, but that doesn't mean that you could not get into the University of Miami, or you could not get into the University of North Carolina at Charlotte, or you understand me? So I know a little bit more about the process and strategically how to get in, probably more than you do.
And I think if your goal is to apply to certain schools because you think you're only a doctor if you graduate from Harvard, as someone who graduated from a much lesser Ivy League, I think part of your strategic application is picking schools that you will be happy at because you're going to work like a new age slave.
Amen.
And some places are very toxic and you would need additional psychological armor to thrive, regardless of your GPA and your numbers. So yes, I went to an Ivy League that's not Harvard, but it was a very nurturing environment. And the folks, the 6 of us that went to school together are still close many, many years after the fact. So
yeah, you'll be fine.
That's the kind of conversation we get into when we have these these mentoring conversations is we believe every single one of you can get in.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we
I believe
that there are better schools that are traditionally supportive of Black students, where you're not going to be the flavor of the year that they'll forget about in the following admission cycle, where we think you can all get in. And
but you also have to be careful.
Harvard, well,
Morehouse, Howard, Charles Drew, Meharry, they ain't got a whole bunch of spots. So a lot of people think that, well, I'll just apply to Howard. I should get into Howard. I'm Black. I should get in. You need to understand what the competition is like. We are going to raise your status so that you're going to be able to choose to apply to all the HBCUs if you like, plus all the rest of the schools. Okay, so that's what this whole program is about. I know we went over just a little bit, but I want to at least encourage all of you to know, I want you to start seeing yourself right now as a physician. I'm a doctor. It's going to happen. I'm going to make it happen. Start seeing yourself right. Not, woe is me. This is my first time. I don't know what. Stop thinking like that.
I want you to visualize opening the envelope, the thick envelope. You remember what the thick envelope means as you get into a good school. I want you to envision yourself walking with your green hood, which means you're an MD. That's the hood you with green when you get
got
to
your
MD,
t-shirt on.
Right?
It's going to happen.
Right.
All righty. Well, it's 5. What time it is? 6:15. It's time to go. Yeah. Sylvia, final words. She's my favorite. Dr. Taylor.
We are very confident that you can do this.
Oh,
we believe you. It's just a shove over the finish line.
Yeah, y'all all standing right at the line. We just gonna go.
That's right.
There you go.
That's right.
There you go. Ain't nobody running the last leg. We didn't pick none of them. We got you right at the line. Okay. All righty. Well, thank you all so much for giving us a part of your evening. Y'all got my phone number. Please feel free to use it strategically. Okay. Yeah. Be mindful that because I do take call and every week I'm awake for at least sometimes 24 hours, I might return your text message at 3 a.m. because I'm awake. Okay. But that's just what I do for a living. So I wish you all the best. Yes. I know the program has already gotten started. There's going to be a lot more emails that are coming to you. Be mindful it'll come from, I think it's ABWP something, or if otherwise it's coming from me. And if I'm sending you something, send it always back to sister, because that's how I can track you and find it. Okay. Anybody who wants to withdraw from the program, they're very clear. I can't do it. I can't sit, call me, text me, let me know now. Because there's at least 5 or 6 people that are screaming about their rejections letters. And we were sad to send those. Okay, we're good. Congratulations to all of you.
Congratulations. Yes.
See you later. Chanel, take us out.
Bye.